get started. We want to thank you, the Bond family, again. Thank you so much, especially on behalf of Revelation, for allowing us to serve. And we are grateful that we're able to do what we do. We do know that we have some state elected officers that are here today, and we're going to give you an opportunity to come first and give your reflection. Congressman Bishop, would you like to start us off? Federal elected officials.
First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, giving honor to clergy here, to Madam Pastor, to this bereaved family. This is the day that the Lord has made. Yeah. And we can rejoice and be glad in it. We really are celebrating the life of a good man, a great servant. Yeah. I got two things I want to do. I got a letter that's addressed to the family. I'm going to read that. And then I've got something else that is really, I think, important. To Mrs. Jenny Mae Barnes and the entire Barnes family. Yeah. My dear friends, Vivian and I were deeply saddened to learn that your beloved, our friend of long standing, the Honorable Jerry Pops Barnes, had transitioned from labor to reward. Words are never adequate to console in the time of loss. Only one who has worn the garment of bereavement can truly know the pain that comes when a family must confront the inevitable and one has been taken from its midst. Yet upon prayerful reflection, the pain we share must melt into joy. Most assuredly, we've all been blessed to know, love, and benefit from having shared the life of this very exceptional man. Pops was a man who loved serving people, or more importantly, he loved serving God. Pops served his country through a career in the United States Army. After his retirement from military service, he found other ways to serve, including a career as a registered nurse and as an elected city councilor for Columbus, Georgia Consolidated Government. As a city councilor for District 1, he gave a voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Yeah. He was truly an advocate for the least of these. At every state, those who know and have watched Pops over the years can truly say that the world is a better place because he passed his way. His impact will be felt by all the people and organizations that he touched for generations to come. On a personal note, Pops was my friend of long standing. He never told me what he thought I wanted to hear, but always told me what he felt I needed. We will miss him greatly. While his passing leaves a tremendous void in their family, it is my hope that the warm and cherished memories of the time shared with him will remain with all of us and always make us smile. Please know that our thoughts and prayers are with your entire family in this difficult time. I pray that your faith in the Holy Spirit will console and comfort you in the days, weeks, and months ahead. With warmest regards, I remain sincerely yours, Anthony Bishop Jr. I have one for Ms. Jenny and for each of the children. The second thing I have is it's a congressional record. And Congress is not in session today, but it will be a pro forma session on tomorrow. And one of the privileges that I have as a member of Congress is to be able to put information in the record that will not go away. Once it's in the record, in the annals of the United States House of Representatives. It will be there now, henceforth, and forevermore. And so we are fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to capture words about individuals and events and organizations that are significant and make tremendous impact so that they will be remembered always. And so the congressional record from the proceedings and debates of the 118th Congress, second session, as of April 26th, which is tomorrow, 2024, in the House of Representatives, these words will be spread in memory of the Honorable Claremont Jerome Pops Barnes. The Honorable Senator of Georgia in the House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor a loving husband, outstanding father, proud grandfather, distinguished non-commissioned officer, dedicated public official, faithful servant of God, and friend of long-standing, the Honorable Claremont Jerome Pops Barnes. Sadly, Pops transitioned from labor to reward on April 14, 2024. A public viewing was held on Wednesday, April 23, 2024 at Taylor Funeral Home in Phoenix City, Alabama, and a memorial service to celebrate his remarkable life was held on Thursday, April 25, 2024 at the Revelation Missionary Baptist Church in Columbus, Georgia. The second oldest of 5 children, Claremont Jerome Barnes, was born on June 10, 1943, the union of the late Pauline White and the late Eugene Barnes in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was reared by his grandmother, Miss Mary J. White, a woman of great importance in his life, who significantly shaped his worldview and instilled within him the values of justice, compassion, and determination. Pops began his life of service when he joined the Army National Guard and enlisted in the United States Army in 1977. Demonstrating his adept leadership skills, he quickly rose through the ranks, ultimately retiring as a Master Sergeant in 1996. Following his retirement from the Army, Pops decided to secure a second bachelor's degree and begin the next chapter of his professional career of service. Desiring to use his time and skills to help those in need, Pops earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from Columbus State University at the ripe young age of 57 and served countless patients as a registered nurse. In 2004, Pops answered the call to run for public elective office. He entered the race for the District 1 seat on the Columbus, Georgia Consolidated Government Council. During the campaign, Pops took the time and effort to knock on every door in District 1 so that he could meet someone in every household he was running to represent and serve. His efforts were rewarded, and he was overwhelmingly elected councilor for District 1. Among his accomplishments for District 1 include the opening of the Boxwood Park, Belvedere Park, and Promise King Recreation Center, leading the effort to hire 100 additional police officers, and opening a police precinct in the heart of District 1 to dramatically cut the city's crime rate. Pops also demonstrated a steadfast passion in advocating for veterans, seniors, and individuals with mental illness. He restarted the Tri-City Veterans Day Parade in 2010, started a senior advocacy group to help seniors maintain their benefits, and periodically hosted the Focus on Health series from the studios of CCG-TV to provide health and wellness education to all citizens in the Chattahoochee Valley area. He also launched a youth vocational training program entitled Opportunity to Get Ahead, using his own funds. reform the city's employment policy to allow the hiring of nonviolent ex-offenders, and consistently addressed right-of-way upkeep, drainage, street surface resurfacing, and pothole issues throughout District 1 on behalf of those he served. In addition to his work as city councilor, Pops has been recognized for his community involvement and service with numerous social and civic organizations, to include American Legion, Disabled American Veterans Board, American Military Society Board, Red Cross Minority Recruitment Board, Concerned Citizens of South Columbus Board, and the Columbus Hospice Board. Because of his dedicated commitment to these and other organizations, he was the recipient of several awards, to include the Family Caregiver Award 2016, the Living Legends Award 2018, the United States Postal Service Purple Heart Award 2019, the Distinguished Older Georgia Award 2020, New Horizons Behavioral Health Impact Award 2021, the Columbus State University Legacy Award 2023, the Columbus State University Alumni Award 2023, the River Valley Regional Commission Council Chairman Appreciation Award 2023. It has been said that the true person of success is not the person that climbs the ladder of this life with both hands, but who climbs with one hand and reaches back with the other. Pops always reached back to help others throughout his life and never shied away from an opportunity to improve the quality of life of those in his community. On a personal note, Pops Barnes was always available and forthcoming regarding issues being considered by Congress. He always gave me sound, wise, and honest advice. For that, I will be forever grateful. Pop Barnes accomplished much in his life, but none of it would have been possible without the grace of God, the love and support of his wife, Jenny Mae Barnes, his devoted children, Cheryl, Claremont, Simmon, Mary, Robbie, Carla, Adelis, and Bruce, 13 grandchildren, 19 great-grandchildren. But through their love, inspiration, and support, Pops leaves a legacy that has made Columbus, our nation, and the world better, because he passed this way. I asked my colleagues in the House of Representatives to join my wife Vivian and me, along with the 765,000 people of Georgia's 2nd Congressional District in celebrating the extraordinary life of the Honorable Claremont Jerome Pops Barnes, and in extending our deepest condolences to his family, friends, and all who mourn his loss. May we all be consoled and comforted by an abiding faith in the Holy Spirit in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Now, I can truly say that Pops was a good man, and Pops loved his family, especially his wife. I can remember a conversation that Pops had with me. He came up to me at a public event, and he said, Congressman, I just want to thank you, because unlike a lot of people, you always give honor and respect to my wife. And I thank him, but he was always cognizant of being kind, respectful, and supportive of his wife, and he appreciated others who did the same. As I sit down, I just want to share one of my favorite poems from Dr. Mays. It's anonymous. It's called God's Minute. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Yes, sir. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Thank God that Fairmont Pops Farm used his minute, and he used it well. God be glory. Life and forever. God be glory. Pops Farm.
Do you have any other elected officials, federal or state?
Good afternoon. To the Ms. Barnes and the Barnes family, I'm here today to pay my respects for Jerry Park Barnes. Most of y'all know I lost my father. When I got the call, I'll never forget my niece walking in into the office, and her face was just stone. And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Councilman Barnes just passed." And Pops and I, of course, we served together. And I was sad when I heard of his passing. I remember going to the city council all the time, and Pops would always call me afterwards and say, "I don't know how you do it." And I tell him, "I don't know how you do it." So we both used to share that all the time. And as Congressman Bishop said, he was never shy about letting you know his opinion. And I'll never forget this day. One day he called me, and of course, Fountain City Classic has a parade, and he sponsored the Veterans Day Parade. And he said, "Brother Smiley," he said, "the Fountain City Classic parade is the same day as the Veterans Day Parade. What are we going to do?" I said, "I'm going to cancel." And we canceled the parade because I know that Veterans Parade is something that no way were we going to get in front of veterans for all the dues they paid. And so I just wanted to come and share those moments that I had with him as a member of the city council and in the state legislature. It's often stated that you make your living by what you get, but you make your life by what you give. Pop Barnes made his life like that. He planted more seeds in young people than anybody. He just was a helper. He was just a giver. And I think about this saying that plant seeds to trees for shade you may never see. Pop Barnes planted seeds to trees for the shade you may never see. And I just want to say to the family, pain and that we could live long that he had a great life. And you got so many things. When you get what you want, you struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that guy has to say. You may be like Jack Harmon and Children on the Farm and think you're a wonderful guy, but the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You can fool the whole world down a pathway of years and get pats on the back of your past. Your final reward will be heartache and tears if you cheat the guy in the glass. Pop Barnes did not cheat himself. He gave it so others could live better. With that, I said, thank God. Job well done. Job well done.
My name is Charlotte Daniel Irvin. Pops chose me to be one of his commissioners to keep Columbus beautiful. Also, he was a friend. Pops was a good man, Y'all just don't know. I told y'all part of the story yesterday. But Pops took my son under his wings. One day, my son was out, and my son actually ran into the back of Pop's car. And Pops was on the phone calling me, telling me that my son had just hit me, but my son took off. He took off. When we got ready to go to court, Pop stood up for my son, and he took him into a program, put him under his wings, where he had him volunteering with the, with the Democrats Party and stuff, giving him an opportunity to improve his life. Y'all just don't know what that did for me. I'm a lupus survivor, and so right now, when Pops did that for my son, I was forever grateful, because he could have been in jail. He could have went to jail. Pops stood up for him, and y'all just don't know. I work in the city, I did Stockton seniors. I think that's what draws Pops to me, because he cares for the seniors so much. But through it all, we became close to the family, loving Mrs. Burns, and meeting the new family, loving you guys. If I could do anything for you all, please let me know. But I just want to say that he was the greatest show. Y'all just don't know. Nobody knew all of the story, but I just wanted to let you know how great a man that he was. Thank you.
Raise this up a little bit. Folks have been calling me Pops Jr. And it's such an honor to be able to hear a lot of the stories of lives touched by Dad. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story about what Dad did for him. It could be a different reaction. Many of us think, get hit by a car, people could be upset. Some folks really treasure their cars. But to Dad, a car was just transportation. Down to the brass tacks, a car is just transportation. What matters are the lives inside of the car. And Dad saw in your son, you can do more. Each of us had the potential for living greatness. And I love hearing the stories how he was able to, in more than 1, 2, 3, 30, 50 occasions, see that in others and help and foster. And use being on city council, use that to be able to help others, make a call, get streetlights repaired, get someone's water turned back on, find someone that doesn't have any food, and to help other people out. And that's really what life is about. Helping out other people, helping out our fellow man and woman, child, whoever, so that we can thrive and live in this planet together, And that's what Dad did. He had a married wife, many have heard of Mamie, being his North Star, and setting those qualities, setting those values in him, which Dad installed in us as well, to do these type of things, because it's so important. It pays dividends, generational dividends. And thank you all for sharing the stories. Thank you all for sharing our dad. We have a ton of dad jokes and dad stories that we could tell you, but we'll save those for a different occasion. Right now we're here to celebrate Dad's life and his legacy and a lot of the things that he has done. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your love. Thank you all for your support. And thank you for what you've done for Dad and for Columbus and the tri-state area.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the eldest. I tease my brother all weekend and stop saying the oldest. But I'm the eldest, the firstborn of Jerry Popcorn. So I have a short story to share. Over the last 2 days, I've heard more about how he supported and loved everyone, but also his tenacity and how he always spoke his truth. So at about 15, my father had the idea to drive to San Antonio, Texas in a hatchback. And he said it was going to be fun. And I envisioned maybe a larger man, not to have my knees up to my neck for almost 6 to 8 months. He had jokes all the way there, and I stayed out there for about a month with him. He stationed there. And so there were 2 lessons that I learned with that experience. Number one, anything you put your mind to, you can do. Don't worry about how you're going to get there, just believe that you will. Yeah. And the last message was never buy a small car. I always drive SUV. I want to thank everybody for the love that you supported, you showed to our family over the last couple of days and throughout this tenure here in Columbus. Thank you again.
Hi everybody, my name is Cindy. I am third daughter? Yeah, third child. Okay, anybody. And I've got a speech that I wrote for my dad. You know, I've been thinking a lot about what to say, but you know, frankly, words are an inadequate expression of how I really feel. I just know I really miss my dad, and not a day will go by that I won't think about him in some way. He was such an innovator. Imagine walking and knocking on every door in your district in your 60s. That kind of determination only comes from a heart that cares. And my dad truly cared, not only for his constituents, but for every single resident of this great city. My dad was an example of someone who truly loved what he did. He loved to serve. And he used the power that God blessed him with, not to do nothing, but he used that power to do something, to spearhead change, both small and big, because he understood the value of serving others. It was a value that was instilled in him by his grandmother, and it was a value that he passed down to us. In grieving my dad, I came across a letter my dad wrote me. And as you guys know, my dad was a man of few words. You could barely get him to talk. So imagine my surprise when he wrote me that 10-page letter. In it, he tells how the value of altruism was instilled in him and through him, us as kids. He tells of a time in the 40s and 50s when people feared polio and cancer because someone could be walking around one day and the next day they were unable to breathe and in an iron lung. He tells the story of a woman named Miss Grant and her sister Miss Anna. Miss Anna had cancer, and during that time, people were unaware of how the disease was transmitted. The thinking at the time was that you could catch diseases like polio and cancer in the air of the room of the person who had it. Miss Grant was my great-grandmother's next-door neighbor, and my dad described hearing Miss Anna crying, moaning, and screaming from the pain, because during those days, we didn't have the sophisticated pain medications that we have today. So the caretaking of Miss Anna for Miss Grant became so insurmountable that she broke down from the stress. My dad tells me that without being asked, my Nana started taking care of Miss Anna. She bathed her, she changed her bed sheets twice a day, all without the use of gloves, until Miss Anna passed away. And she didn't receive a dime, nor did she ask for one. Now keep in mind that she had the same concerns about catching cancer by being in the room with the person who had it, or by touching the person. But what she did went beyond mere helping. And she did it because she had a servant's heart. So y'all, there's a difference between helping and having a servant's heart. One who is merely helping does it when it poses no danger to them. But when the going gets tough, guess what, y'all? They get going. But one who has a servant's heart keeps trudging even when danger lies ahead, because they are being obedient to what they've been called to do. My great-grandmother, she was called. My dad, he was called. But not only was he called, he understood the importance of keeping my great-grandmother's legacy alive, because by keeping her legacy alive, it made his calling and the changes he made all the more profound. So that the changes he made transcended the notion of change and metamorphized into transformation. So yes, we will mourn. And we will grieve. Because my dad was truly, I can't tell you how much I miss him. But let's remember that his legacy lives because guess what? His kids are here. That's right. And we are going to continue on in the manner in which he worked. We, his kids, are going to continue on in the manner in which he loved. And we, his kids, are going to continue on in the manner in which he lived. Right? So we're not only going to accomplish what he accomplished by transcending the notion of mere helping, but we're going to walk daily in our family legacy of having a servant's heart. So thank you, Norman, for loving and embracing my dad. And thank you for loving and embracing us. It is not the ending. Guess what? It is a new beginning. Amen.
Coming as my dad's sister.
If there's anyone that would like to come and give reflections, you can do so at this time. We're limited to 2 minutes. Somebody say amen.
This family find comfort in the words that have been said so far. We're thankful for each and every person who has come to be around this family for such a great person. Mr. Jerry Pop Barnes was a friend of mine. Not in the long stories, but he was a friend of veterans. And I would like every veteran, if you are in this building, if you would please stand at this time. Every veteran. And November the 11th, around 9:08 a.m., it was a rainy day in Columbus, Phoenix City, and the Veterans Day Parade was canceled. Many of us remember that because we were in the line to go to the parade. Pops texted me and said, "Mark, it's raining. We can't do the parade because it's a risk." So I called him. He said, "Thank y'all for still standing, so please stay." He said, "We need to figure out another day to have it." That day did not happen. But I tell you this, the next Veterans Day Parade, I need all of you who are standing to be volunteers to help keep the legacy of Jared Pops Barnes going. Let's do the parade. Rain, hail, sleet, or snow, you will go. You will make the parade happen. And I just want to thank you all for standing and volunteering. Pops is that type of person. He wouldn't put you on the spot, but he would get you motivated to help him do what he was doing. So thank all of you, and I'm not going anywhere. I want to get some names, numbers, so that we can keep this legacy going. We must continue what has been started. Thank you so much.
I have to go Pop, going down to the council, and not only that, they came to me and said, "Sharon, you love inventory, and go on Congress inventories to the sick kids and the needy kids." She said, "I want to do something. I want you to go to this hospital that in this medical center, and I want you to do the same thing you would do if I didn't get you to do it." I said, "How do you know I wouldn't do it?" He said, "Well, you would, but you don't like too much credit or anything to do." So he said, "Okay, I'm going to call, I'm going to get you to the medical center." And we went out till COVID came home. Well, we started being ill. I did it. And then my sister come with us. And we both did it all week. He would come. Every time he would do it, he said, "I'll do that." Anything I did, he always does. I want to tell y'all a strange story, and it might sound crazy, but Sunday night I was in bed about 8 o'clock, and at about 4:03 I got real cold. I had to try to get my husband, and I did. My husband just passed away about tears and Jean, I'm just kidding. I'm really sorry. But I got up and I looked, and there was my husband. I could tell it was my husband. The light, I don't have a light in the sitting area. It was bright. And there was two other men. But I know who the other man was behind the screen. With Pop Barnes. So he died at 10:30. I got a call at 8 the next morning told me he died. And that sounds crazy, but I saw my husband's spirit. And Pop loved Jean, Jean loved Pop. He used to own the Holiday House. He said, you need to open the Holiday House back then. I was kidding Jean about furniture. But that's what I want y'all to know, that I got to see Pop. And that's the last time I got to see him, but at least I saw his spirit.
I would like to say to the Barnes family, I'm Amanda. I am Jeanette Shaw from Mercury Post 267. I'm going to do this. First, I would like to say, he wore his American Legion hat proudly. Those of you that did not know, I guess by now you know, because I heard on the news, when he was wearing his hat and awareness, it says, American Legion Post, Samuel G. Cook, Columbus, Georgia. I would like to say again, we were just as proud of him as being one of our members as he was to be our member. A lot of times he would come to the meetings, and a lot of times he would see us in the street or with anything that needs to be done. All he wanted to know is what it is that I need to do for our veterans and for the community, and especially for American Legion Post 267. At this time, I would ask that all veterans again, please stand. Our veterans always do what? Salute. And this is our salute to our member, Jerry Barnes. And thank you. I did not want to overlook our city officials and all officials in the house here. So again, to you all, to all the veterans, and to the community, and friends and neighbors. Thank you so very much.
My name's Mary Bowen, and I live in Alabama. Don't even live on this side of the river. I moved here from Florida, didn't know a person, but I was a member of Boy Scouting as a volunteer, and my job was to go down and meet with Pops and a group of people that were going to plan the first Veterans Parade. And he and I hit it off. We were kindred spirits. He was just a wonderful person that served everybody. You didn't have to be a member of the state of Georgia or his constituency. That was not important. What was important is that you were going to be helping other people. Now, to the Veterans Parade. My husband and I are members of the Dixie Division of Military Vehicles. We would be proud to help with that. We've got a 1952 Jeep Willys. It'll be right there in the parade. So thank you guys, family, thank you so much. Pops was always there for our Boy Scouts. Anytime we had a young man reach Eagle, he had a citation written up for him and came out and read them. This Barnes, you were there a couple of times. So thank you guys, and I miss you too.
Someone just said to me a few minutes ago, says, did you know Pops? I said, how well did I know him? He was at my mother's 99th birthday in her home. There was a proclamation given. He was at her 100th birthday in Fort Benning. The greetings coming from President Obama. He made it possible that she could go before the city and receive another proclamation, and she also received a resolution, all because of Pop. And Pop, he's gone. He fought a good fight. He finished his course, and he kept the faith. And knowing me as he so well knew, he would expect me to say my 2 minutes in words uplifting you who are here, the living. Now, it made no difference with Pop if you were born in the alley, you lived in the valley, or you had a plush home overlooking the water in Green Island Hill. He loved people. And in his position, the seat didn't make him, but he made the seat. He brought something to the seat, and he left something about something in the seat. His feet, his locomotion from door to door, and his office was in the front of Walmart, talking to the people and feeling the pulse of their pains and their needs and their concerns. And when the seat got too hot from his critics, believe me, he had some critics, but when the seat got too hot from his critics, he fainted not, but held on to Christ, the solid rock. I learned from Pops that good health is when one can truthfully say that it is well with my soul. His wife, a woman of very few words, was a powerful house besides her king. And my prayer is that God will send us more men like Papa.
Wanna hold this? Wanna hold this?
Good afternoon to the pastor of this church, to the Barnes family. I'm from across the river, but I would like to express my condolences to you all. And one memory I would like to leave with you all. I ran across Pop a couple of months ago at CBS, and when he came out, I spoke to him, he spoke back with me. And then he said, "Who is this young lady that you have with you?" And I said, "This is my granddaughter." And as usual, he began to talk to her. And then he began to share with her about he was a nurse, and he went on and on and on. And then he encouraged her. He said, "Now I want you to go back to school, and I want you to become that nurse." And she told him that she would. So I just want to say thank you all for sharing him with us. Thank you all for the love that has been instilled, and not only in her, but others as well. And the scripture said, "Weeping may endure for a night, but you are coming in the morning." God bless you. God bless you.
Dad was an encourager, education for others, but also himself. So something some of you may not know, Dad was 80, but he had recently signed up to go back to Columbus State University to continue his education in nursing, to become a nurse practitioner. Okay? So I want you all to know that.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the Barnes family, the federal, state, and local level officials. My name is Brandy Pyatt, and I am here representing Tree of Life Healthcare, which is an organization that my father started. And Pop worked very closely with my father, giving his support to Tree of Life for a lot of years since my dad started the organization. He was also there for our family when my dad passed. He helped get the proclamation together from the city, and our family is truly, truly grateful for him for doing that for us. I just wanted to give our sincere condolences from the Clyde family and from Tree of Life Healthcare. If there's anything that you all need, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we're here for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jonathan Liss, and I had the pleasure and just great honor to know Pops for the last many number of years. As many of you know, I work in the field of memory loss and trying to eradicate Alzheimer's disease. And I called up Pops before I did not know him, and I asked him for help in reaching the communities in Columbus that need help the most so that we could eradicate Alzheimer's disease and memory loss amongst everybody. I had no idea when I called him that this is the busiest man on earth. And his energy, it was an immediate yes, and his energy never stopped, and he would call me with great ideas as to how I can further the cause. And when I came in, I was just so pleased to see this picture of Pops, because what this picture says to me is vibrancy. And that's when, you know, every day that I will think of Pops, and it will be every day, it will be vibrancy. Because he was that battery that never stopped. It was the battery that could, with the heart that you guys all spoken to, that would. And I planned on other things to say, but the eulogies have been so beautiful, and I can't say better than that. But I just know that a busy person who's successful, like Pops, is a person that can always get one more thing in his or her schedule. And he always get one more thing in his or her schedule, and he would always. I don't know. There must have been no time when he slept, frankly, because it just would never end. And I don't know. Into the Barnes family, I'm so glad to see all of you, because I'm just so glad that there's so many Barnes family. I'm so glad there's, you know, as you talked about your great grandmother, to think that her drop of blood is in him and his drop of blood is in all of you. It just means this really is going to continue, and we need men and women of his heart to do that. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say a final goodbye to Pops, because we will miss him greatly. He was just fantastic. And I don't know if you realize this, but we're also related, because I always called him my favorite uncle and he called me his favorite nephew. And so anyway, I will grieve with you. Thank you for sharing him with us.
Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ron Williams. I rise to offer my condolences on behalf of Columbus State University. I serve as the Senior Vice Provost for Academic Affairs there at the university, and I had the awesome opportunity to engage with Jerry Pops Barnes several times. As has been mentioned this afternoon, he was one of our most distinguished graduates. We were very proud of him, very glad to call him a Cougar, very proud of him in this community. On a personal note, I'm relatively new to Columbus. I've only been here about 5 years, and most people who probably stood here have been here for many, many decades. But Pops welcomed me to this community. He was always very kind and very helpful. And as his son said, we were very proud that he was going to come back to the university and earn that master's degree in nursing. So again, we grieve with you. Our condolences from the Columbus State University family, and God bless you all as you grieve. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Byron Hickey. Giving all honor and grace to God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, to the Barnes family, Mrs. Barnes, and everyone in attendance. It is with deep reverence that we gather here today to honor the memory of Jerry Pops Barnes, a man of God, esteemed friend, neighbor, and dedicated city councilor. Pops exemplified unwavering commitment to his constituents in the District 1 and to the entire community of Columbus, Georgia. His profound love for the city was evident in his tireless advocacy for veteran affairs, public health, and particularly mental health. In my humble estimation, Pops epitomized the essence of a true public servant. Those fortunate enough to have known Pops understood him as a steadfast individual who expressed his convictions with unwavering candor. Once his mind was set, he remained resolute. In conclusion, let me convey to the family and all present that Pops has transcended to a place of eternal peace. Rest assured, he has completed his earthly journey and now rests in the embrace of God, our Heavenly Father. In the mighty name of Jesus, Pop has entered into glory to receive his heavenly crown and wings. While we mourn his passing, let us take solace in the enduring legacy and indelible impact he leaves behind. Thank you, and God bless you.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Harry Underwood. I helped Pops with his website, built his website, helped him with his video, his Facebook video series on health that he started during the COVID era in 2020. And when it was increasingly, if not impossible, then at least difficult to do his Focus on Health public access TV show, he used Facebook Live to engage all of his constituents on Facebook, especially working with Andrew Winston and Susan Gallagher from New Horizons, and also with the West Central Georgia Health District. I'm very gutted by the fact that Pops is no longer with us and that I can't work with him anymore as being and I call him his jack of all trades, with assisting him with Zoom, with Facebook Live, with his website. We can't commiserate about politics in his car anymore and everything like he used to. And but I am so glad that he made such an impact on my life. And also he drilled into me to focus on improving my health in my own life. And also just with his own example, as well as with what he told me, and using his own background in nursing in order to help other people and help me. And so that made a great impact in my life. And my greatest, I would say my greatest work for him was working with Claremont Jr., to connect him on Zoom to all of his alumni from his high school up in Philadelphia. There was the last time that a lot of them were able to connect, and this was during the COVID era. I am so glad that he was able to meet them at least one last time, and I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
What can you say after all that has been said? I'm Gwendolyn McIntosh, and I'm president of the Columbus Metro Black Nurses Association. And because Pop was a dedicated member of our organization, always provided us with proclamation. And during the month of May 6th through the 12th, that's National Nurse Recognition Week. And he would always make sure that City Council provided nurses throughout the city with a proclamation. My phone would ring, conversation. Gwen, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just sitting here doing nothing right now, Pop. Do you still have all that paperwork from when you worked on your master's? Now, at 72 years old, I started back at Columbus State to get my master's in nursing because it was one of my long-term goals. One of his long-term goals was also completing his work on getting his master's. So I told him every piece of paper that I had, all the articles, and even he had sent me information that a nurse had sent him that helped me in school with some of my subjects. I told him I got all of that paperwork for you. And then we would talk on, he would say something like, well, you know, I'm gonna have a little bit of problem with the computers. Because I said, well, I understood, because when they were talking about distribution board and posting assignments and reading paperwork, I'm like, Lord help me. It's been many years since I've been in school. But, you know, with him, talking with him and just listening at him. And then on the service on Bena Vista Road at the old Walmart, where he would be out there on Saturdays. And some of our members would go out with him to do vital signs. And he would call, go in, we got a health fair going on. We would get up and go and just try to be a part of that ministry with him. I appreciate him and his family. Cindy and I actually worked together at West Central Georgia Regional Hospital. And that's why I met Pop Barnes at West Central Georgia Regional Hospital, mental health. And that was a great concern with him. And I appreciate him so much. Words cannot express the happiness and joy of being with him all of these years, just being a nurse. We have a special bond, that bond with being a nurse. That's just incredible. I can meet a nurse and we can talk about things because we share a lot of the same concerns, especially when it comes to healthcare, especially when it comes to mental health. So I extend my appreciation to you. And one thing he would always do as well, when he would call, he would always ask me about my grandson. How's your grandson doing? I said, he's fine. He's actually graduated from college and we're very proud of him. But I appreciate you all and what he has done for us.
Good evening. Mayor and family, to the representatives. My name is Leroy Davis, Jr., and I'm from Phoenix City, Russell County out there. I run a show called the Veterans View Show. And Pop had a show called Veterans, all about veterans. And we work both sides of the river, not just doing our show, but helping veterans and doing things, moving out throughout the community. But I just want to tell you a little bit about when I first met Pop. I saw the parade on TV, and we started doing a Veterans Day banquet the day before the parade. So I've been trying to get Pop's phone number, I couldn't get it. Now everybody talk about how great Pop was, but when you first met Pop, if you didn't know Pop, you just couldn't walk up to Pop and talk to Pop. And if he didn't know your phone number, he wasn't going to answer the phone. So I had been calling Pop trying to get him to say, hey, look, Veterans Day parade, the banquet the night before, Veterans Day parade. So one Sunday afternoon, something told me to go to Popeyes on Winter Road and get me some chicken. And I had spicy Popeyes chicken. So guess who I see in Popeyes? Pop and May. So I walk up to Pop, and Pop look at you strange when you walk up to him and you don't know it. And I raised my hand out there, and he finally got his up and shook my hand, and I told him who I was and what I was doing. He said, yeah, we need to talk, we need to get, and we've been together ever since. And this was before the pandemic, way before the pandemic. Pop and I have been working together. Pop said, people get jealous of you, Leroy, because you're from over in Alabama. And so how come you ain't got somebody from over here working like that? But Pop knew the kind of people he wanted to work with. And he knew who was going to be there. Some people are going to be with you in words. When it comes time for work, sometimes some people disappear. But when the TV camera come around, they come back. So Pop and I got that understanding. We did things like we did a show together for the community of Columbus and Phoenix City about violence. We had a television show. We had the mayor from Columbus, the mayor from Phoenix City, had the chief of police from Columbus, chief of police from Phoenix City, both sheriffs from Russell County and Muskogee County. And we had some people from the health department, because not only did we talk about violence, but we talked about COVID too, and what people need to do. But, and I'll tell you this last one, what I told the family is, one day Pop and I was supposed to meet on 10th Avenue, at a certain place on 10th Avenue. I got there, I waited 20 minutes and I did not see Pop. So I got in my truck and started riding up and down the road. I said, now where Pop is? And all of a sudden I see Pop zoom by in this black truck. So I took my horn, went for light, he kept going, he was like this. And so I turned around and I caught up with him. He got up to a stoplight and I went around and saw the black block. And threw my truck in park and jumped out. Say, hey, Pop, with me. He said, I don't know where I'm at. He said, you gotta help me. His sugar had got up. And everything. I said, slide over, let me have the truck. And I left, and there was other white guy who had came along to help as well. I said, you watch my truck so there's nobody run into it, and I'm gonna park his in the parking lot. And I'll take him and get him straight. So I parked his in the parking lot, and I ran back and said, you stay here till I get in my truck, and then we're gonna go. And so I got my truck and put Pop in, and we went up to the closest convenience store we could get to, and I bought a pack of crackers and a bottle of orange juice. And Pop ate them crackers and rubbed that orange juice, and you saved my life. He called me on the phone, he said, mate, you won't believe my blood sugar went up so high, and he said, Leroy, stop me somehow, but he got me to stop. And so That's a story that I tell, and from that time on, Pop would always tell me, I'll never forget what you did, how you stopped me on the road when I didn't know where I was going. You're talking about a man that stood for something. Pop Barnes stood for something. And his word was his bond. So if he gave you his word that he was going to do something, you can count on it. And family, y'all keep it going. Stick with what your plans are to follow in your father's footsteps. Because he was a good man. Thank you.
And I worked with Pop at St. Francis Hospital. And Pop came with the cheer card at first. He said, cheer is here. And I said, yeah, but we gotta pay for it. And it was just a lot of snacks and everything. But if you all don't mind, can I give a little tribute to him? I won't be up here long. May the works I done speak for me. May the words I've done speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, and there's nothing I can say, may the works I've done, let it speak for me. The works I've done, it seems so small. Sometimes it seems like nothing at all. But when I stand before my God, I want to hear him say, well done. May the works I've done speak for me.
Turn to Psalms 23. No, I'm just joking. It's not that We do want to say thank you so much for being here to support this family. And they don't know this. Me and Pops had a wonderful relationship. And Pops called one day because he had helped someone with their electric bills. But there was still a balance, and he knew that Revelation, we believe in service and we believe in helping those that are in need. And he said the balance is this amount. And I said, Pop, we're going to do what we can do. I said, but let me tell you what's going on in Revelation. He said, we just received an electric bill for $4,238. I know the exact price in 22 cents. He said, what? I said, yes, sir. And we service the community, so we're here quite a bit, but we have never received an electric bill like that before. Pop said, don't pay it. I said, excuse me? Pop said, don't pay it. I said to him, come by the church, we're going to help the person that needs help. We wrote a check to Georgia Power, got that paid. Pop said to me again, do not pay it. I don't know who he knew at Georgia Power. I don't care who he knew at Georgia Power. But he said to us that bill was literally reduced in half. Somebody ought to say amen. That was the type of person that he was. Wherever he could render service,
he would do it to the best of his ability. And I want to say I am grateful. I am so grateful that he passed this way through RMBC, and that we knew him and we loved him and how he loved us. He loved his family and he loved this community. So I want to say, is there anything else? God bless you. God keep you. We have there was some food left. If you would like, if you need a snack for tonight, go by and pick up a plate. Let me say this to the Revelation family, our culinary ministry, our deacons, our ushers. Thank you all so much. Amen. If you don't have a church home, welcome home. If you don't know Jesus in the free pardon of your sin, you get to know him. Amen. Hold on just a moment.
I'm so sorry. I rushed all the way here from work. Pop Barnes was a mentor. I loved him greatly. There was nothing that I would not do for him. When he came to me about doing the program at the Civic Center for the Army, for the Navy, for the military, there was no question of, well, I think I can. No, it was an automatic, I will. And I don't want to take up any more of you all's time because I know you all have been sitting here. But when I say that this man was golden, when I say that he was a man of God, when I say that he was a father to a lot of us, I still have my dad. I just lost my dad February this year, 93 years old. But I still had an extra father, which was Pops. Pop would come, not often, but enough to come out with him and sing. And he always told me, Fuchsia, you got a gift, girl. He said, use it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been sitting down for the last 2 years because, you know, when you lose people, you kind of slip back into a way where you're just not yourself. And then when I heard it was passing, I automatically came back to myself. And if I told you some of the things that Pops would do for me out of kindness, and you didn't have to, and I'm just like, no, you would say, yeah, and you always think that's my Pops. Because that's the man that he was. So for each and every person that has been blessed to have him in your life, don't treat this as a sad occasion, because he's going on home. He's going on in glory. His job is well done by a good and faithful servant. So, God has not